Last year I quickly ran through the mobility framework, but I think it's worthwhile going through it again. And this is a very ambitious attempt. I have to keep up with EDA drawing, but we said that Dev by PowerPoint is boring for the presenters as well. So we opted for people drawing and us talking. I'll tell you in the end if they're busy drawing as we're speaking or if they have a bit of magic that assisted them. But here we go, EDA. On the left top is the mobility framework. So the mobility framework would work asking the question, where is my workforce? But not only where is my workforce, you would ask questions like, where are my customers? Where are my assets? You need to answer that question, where? Where are the different components to my business? And we believe spatial information is fundamental to that. We believe it's very important to understand that question of where. Once you understand the question of where, you would sort of naturally link to the next stage of saying we need to get something to it or from it. So that the next question would be, how do I get to where? So how do I actually drive something there or get something from that, my assets or my vans or whatever? And then if I arrive there, what do I do? Now I've arrived at my customer. In this case, we said maybe it's a parcel that I'm delivering, but you can think it can be one of a million different things that you actually deliver or collect. Now that you've done that, you would want to move on to the next quarter and you say, okay, I've delivered, but I want to have a bit of a picture of my business. So you would say, how do I analyze my data? You know, how do I actually look at this? How do I see the stats and the graphs and so forth? And this thing as a whole is what we call the mobility framework. The last portion, as I said, deals with the stats. And from there, I'm now going to go, Ida told me I'm going to do this 3 times, so I'm going to start again. At the top left, we're talking about locating. Thank you, Ida. She has to rest in the odd occasion. Locating means placing something on a map, and how do you do that? You position a mobile phone, you get a GPS coordinate, or you use something like Nintendo LS. You type in an address with spelling mistakes, etc., and it sorts it out for you. It gives you the correct address. So now you've got that point on a map. Now that you have it, you want to drive to it or you want to navigate to it. And that's the next step, so navigate. And this would imply turn-by-turn voice navigation. Now what we've done is we've said navigation to data has been a relatively closed system. Let us build applications on all of the primary operating systems from Apple through to BlackBerry and let you be able to have those voice driving directions. In addition, we allow you to send an inbox item to this navigator to make sure nobody gets lost along the way. Finally, we're talking about capturing in this sequence. Now that we've driven you to a specific place, you are capturing a specific piece of information, be it a mobile order, so you're arriving there, you're taking an order from a specific customer, or maybe it is a delivery note, maybe it's a piece of equipment that you are inspecting, as we said with the SABS, they are busy inspecting for Eskom in terms of the solar geysers. And once again, this runs on the smartphone platforms, all of the different ones, and it can be integrated into your ERP database at the end, or the database can reside in your own premises, in our premises on your behalf. Now that you have all of the data, you want to evaluate it. Maybe you wanted to start with the evaluation as well. So you wanted to know where to go, you do the planning, and then you want to confirm if that is what happens. So if you look at that map, you're placing your customers, you're placing your competitors, you're placing your own sales force, and maybe you would consider redefining those trade areas that actually imply where you do business, looking at the statistics that describe them and what you've now gathered. So let me repeat for the 3rd time. It's about locating, navigating, capturing, and evaluating. And this we do with our products. On the location side is SimSeek, TrackB, and Navigator. Nintendo LS on the navigation side, it's Navigator. The capturing side, it's AfriGIS Forms, and the analysis side is Just Like, which we love. All of this is then bundled with the communication and advertising server Marble that makes sure that you can speak to these devices, whether it be an advertising or a coordination message of all these guys, as you heard in Stats A's case, 130,000 out there. It's an interesting exercise to coordinate all of that. And I think this, in a nutshell, is the mobility framework, which is now the culmination of all of these different enablers. They can be used separately, they can be used in a whole, or specific components of them. And that brings me to the end of my presentation.